Welcome to Pete and Hannah's Watchlist. I'm your host, Pete Mitchell. I'm here with my great co-host, Hannah.
Hello, people.
Hannah, we're here today for AFI Top 100 10-year revisited. But before we begin, let us tell the viewers and the listeners what they should do.
Could you pretty please leave a like and subscribe to our channel? Leave a comment down below your feedback on the show, your thoughts, your comments, your questions, all that jazz. Leave them in our comments.
Hit the notification button and you'll get great content like this one, including What's Next, the show where we help you figure out what to watch next.
That's right.
Shadow Force.
Whoa!
Today is AFI Top 100. Tomorrow is Movie News, where we're going to do a special draft edition.
Tom
Cruise getting ready for Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Looking forward to that. But let's get on to today's show. And today's show is all about movie number 27 of the AFI Top 100 10-year visited. And it is High Noon. Have you seen this one before?
I actually have.
I have too.
Yeah.
Where do we watch it? We rented it on Apple TV. The elevator pitch. A town marshal, despite the disagreements from his newlywed wife and townspeople around him, must face a gang of deadly killers alone at high noon.
That's right. That's correct.
That's good. That's good. Directed by Fred Zinnemann. Screenplay by Carl Foreman. Based on the Tin Star 1947 short story in Colliers by John W. Cunningham. Produced by Stanley Kramer. Cinematographer Floyd Crosby. Edited by Elmo Williams and Harry D. Gersard. Music by Dimitri Tolkien. United Artists was the distributor. It was released on July 24th, 1952. Goes for 85 minutes. Budget $730, made $12 million. Okay. Stars, Gary Cooper as Marshal Will Kane. Thomas Mitchell as Mayor Jonas Henderson. Lloyd Bridges, father of Beau and Jeff. Deputy Marshal Harvey Pell. Kate Jordan as Helen Ramirez. Grace Kelly as Army Fowler Kane. Otto Kruger as Judge Percy Metric. Lee Truman Jr. as Martin Howe. Harry Morgan as Sam Fuller. Harry Morgan, famous as Dr. Henry Potter from MASH. Ian McDonald as Frank Miller. Eve McKeown as Mildred Fullard. Morgan Farley as Dr. Marn Minister. Harry Shannon as Cooper. Lee Van Cleef as Jack Colby. Lee Van Cleef is like one of the most famous bad guys of all time. He was like in The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. He's just one of those go-to bad guys. Robert J. Wilkie and Sheb Wooler as Ben Miller. Ben Miller, famous. His death scream in this movie has been used 373 times in different movies, including one of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. That's like, cool. It's right up there with the Wilhelm scream.
Okay, so let's have a look at the box office from 1952. Yeah. All right. Number 10, High Noon. United Artists. The Quiet Man by Republic. Jumping Jacks by Paramount. Moulin Rouge, United Artists. Sailor Beware for Paramount. Ivanhoe, nominated for Best Picture, MGM. Hans Christian Andersen, RKO. The Snows of Kilimanjaro, 20th Century. This is Cinemara by Cinemara Releasing, and The Greatest Show on Earth by Sisters B. DeMille.
Yeah.
Starring Charlton Heston. Ended up winning Best Picture that year. We'll go into that later.
Weird box office.
Okay, let's talk about casting first. So John Wayne was officially offered the lead role in this movie, but refused because he believed Foreman's story was an obvious allegory against the blacklisting that was going on at the time. So at the time, there was people getting blacklisted from Hollywood for being communist.
Communists, yeah.
So being socialist. And so all these people were getting blacklisted. Some of them were getting blacklisted for not even...
They're just having associated ties, like...
Yep, or not even turning people in, or... Not even they weren't even communists themselves, but they refused to turn people in.
There was just like a friend they knew, and that kind of stuff. That did happen a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I'm doing the research for this movie, I was so surprised, like, the backstory behind this movie. There's so much intrigue when it comes to this movie.
Is it just lore?
Yeah. This is huge. One of the resources that I used, and, like, you got to do this with a grain of salt because a lot of people were dead, but Carl Foreman's screenplay.
Yep.
He wrote a book about the making of this movie, and he got kicked off the movie, basically. And it was because he was blacklisted, and so he ended up moving to England, and everyone had passed away. A lot of people said that some of the things that he was saying in his story didn't actually happen, but anyway,
it's
so
hearsay.
When he wrote this movie, he was going through the blacklisting at the time. So a lot of people have said that what Marshal Kane was going through.
Oh, like a man on his own.
Man on his own.
Yeah,
Yep.
even though he's...
all his friends had turned his back on him. That's what was happening for
wow,
Foreman
that's
at the time.
so interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so after Wayne refused the Will Kane role, Kramer offered the role to Gregory Peck.
Yep.
Right? But he felt it was too similar to the gun role. But Peck later said it was considered the biggest mistake of his career because Peck,
I think...
noted Democrat.
Yeah.
He was against the blacklisting. He should have,
I think also he would have been very much perfect. That's his type
Marlon
of
Brando,
character.
Montgomery Clift also declined the role. Charlton Heston. Kramer saw Grace Kelly in an off-Broadway play, and Kelly was sort of like, I'm not going to go for this because there's an age gap between her and Cooper, 50 and 21 at the time.
It's pretty big.
But there were rumours that these two were unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
Kelly biographer David Sweat wrote that there's no evidence of a romance, but there was rumours going around at the time. Biographer Gina McKinnon speculated that there might have been a role or two in the hay bales.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she got over it.
I was talking about Lee Van Cleef. This is his first actual role in a movie. So, and then he went on to become that it guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Will Kane was supposed to be 30, so there was a little bit of pushback.
Oh, I see. That's why it makes sense.
Also, at the time, he was in a bit of a Gary Cooper was in a bit of a cold streak because he'd been around
Gary
for
Cooper
29 years.
Yeah, he was an A.
He was in heaps of movies, but he was in a bit of a cold streak, and this one propelled him back.
Yeah, because he's phenomenal in this movie, actually.
Okay, let's talk about Fred Zimmerman. He was selected. He is best known for A Man for All Seasons, From Here to Eternity, and The Nun Story. They're his most memorable works. He's actually fought for against the colorization of this movie. So this movie, he said it was designed to be black and white, but
fan.
he actually failed. And Ted Turner, who owned
the rights to it,
he advocated for the process and they got it done. So yeah, Turner Classic Movies, that's cut in colour.
Yeah, it's something I'm not a fan of.
Carl Foreman, so he wrote The Guns of Navarro, Bridge and River Kwai, which we've had on the list before,
yes,
and The Young Winston. So there you go. We talked about him being blacklisted, and that's
when it came up. Yeah.
Stanley Kramer and Carl Foreman were sort of like a production twosome, and they did all these movies together. But they broke up over the blacklisting. He actually he wanted Carl Foreman off the picture. Gary Cooper actually fought for Carl. And said, mate, the guy's done the work, you should pay him. Gary Cooper's a complicated character because Gary Cooper was very conservative. He was best friends with John Wayne.
Of course.
But even Gary Cooper thought, this
whole thing, all this movie.
The movie. He needed this movie.
Yeah.
And he thought it was going to work.
That this movie's good enough to stand on its own. That people aren't just going to...
Yeah, I think he didn't care. He just thought it was a good movie.
Yeah. You know what? I feel that.
Okay, so Stanley Kramer produced Judgment at Nuremberg, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Inherent Win, and The Defiant Ones.
Okay.
Dimitri Tolkien music, absolutely outstanding in this movie. The music in this movie. He did Guns of Navarone. He did also Dial M for Murder and The Giant.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 2002 documentary that I was talking about before There was a letter from screenwriter Carl Foreman to film critic Bosley Crowther. Foreman's role in creation and production of High Noon was unfairly downplayed over the years in favour of Stanley Kramer's. Foreman told Crowther that the film originated from a four-page plot outline he wrote and turned into a very similar to The Tin Star, a short story by John Dermot Cunningham, which was at the start, about an aging sheriff that takes on a dangerous murderer. But a lot of other people said that the central plot line of High Noon was also a very similar to The Virginian by Owen Wister, and there was also a 1929 film version of The Virginian, which also featured Gary Cooper in the star role.
Yeah.
So there's like a couple of different points of view that what was there. The production release of High Noon intersected with the second of the Red Scare in the United States of the Korean War. In 1951, during the film production, screenwriter Karen Will was summoned before the House of Un-American Activities Committee for the propaganda in the motion picture industry. Foreman had been a member of the Communist Party, but he declined to identify fellow members of any suspected current membership. As a result, he was labelled an uncooperative witness and got blacklisted from the thing and moved to the UK.
Yep. Which is what, moving to the UK.
It's just what happened back then, didn't they? Like and then he went on to make Bridge of the River the Kwai and stuff like that. So, yeah. High Noon was filmed late in the summer of 1951 in several locations. The opening Korean sets was set in the Iverson Movie Ranch near Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. A few towns were shot, preserved Gold Rush, Mining Town, Sonora, but street scenes were filmed on the Columbia Movie Ranch in Burbank.
Yep, okay.
The running time of the story precisely parallels the running time of the film. So, an effect highlighted by the frequent shots with clocks reminding all the time. So, if you start this movie, 83 minutes, it will finish on High Noon.
So brilliant. It's the same as the, I guess, the countdown episode of How Much Mother, where it's just counting down to
that's
the big...
That's where they got this idea from. There's also a movie called Nick of Time, starring Johnny Depp.
Wow, you really pulled that one out of the closet.
Well, yeah. Also stars Christopher Walken.
That's why.
Upon its release, critics and audiences expecting chases, fights, spectacular scenery, and other common Western elements. You got to remember, Westerns were so prolific back then.
Yep. No, they're the superhero movies.
We've done a few Westerns on this list. Unforgiven, Shane.
Yeah.
All those movies.
Butch Cassidy, all that jazz.
The film, some critics scoffed at the unorthodox rescue by the hero, by the heroine.
Oh.
David Bishop argued that the Quaker Amy not helped her husband by shooting the man in the back. Some inaction from the poor pacifist toward the decadents. Alfred Hitchcock thought Kelly's performance was rather mousy and lacking animation, and only in later films, he said, did she become a true star. Kelly absolutely hated this performance. She said it was wooden.
Honestly, compared to her other performances, this is like her probably weakest thing, even though she's a very much important part of this film.
Okay. This movie is a favourite among presidents of the United States. Ronald Reagan.
Of course.
Bill Clinton, Dwight Eisenhower. All love this movie.
Bill
Clinton watched this 17 times in the White House in his 8 years.
Yeah, it's like it makes sense moral, like in a sense that one man taking on, having to take on the burden of justice for the town kind of thing.
Zinnemann's other movie, A Man for All Seasons, this is the cousin to that movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cousin.
Okay, so this movie was nominated for Best nominated for Best Director. It won Gary Cooper his first Academy Award. He actually didn't receive it. He was filming. He sent his best friend, John Wayne, to do it. John Wayne got up. And we know John Wayne didn't like this movie at all. He said he didn't believe that the townspeople would just not stand up for this guy. He said, I'm going to have to look at my agents because I should have done this film.
Wow.
Because at the time he hadn't won an Academy Award. Best film editing, best score. It's a great score. Best song for The Ballad of High Noon.
Amazing. Amazing, that song.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's one of those songs that continuously plays throughout subtly, and it just works.
John Wayne told in an interview that he considered High Noon the most un-American thing he'd ever seen in his whole life, and later teamed up with director Howard Hawks to make Rio Bravo in a response to High Noon. So there you go.
Really? That's weird. But
John Wayne, complicated character.
Yeah, I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Let's talk about it. It's lost to the greatest show on earth, directed by Stephen Miller, is usually cited as one of the biggest upsets in cinema history. This loss was by many in the industry as a result of the significant anti-communist lobby, including John Wayne and columnist Hedda Hooper. Also, this is to appease Senator Joseph McCarthy, since DeMille was one of his strongest supporters. Hannah.
Yep.
But really, the biggest sham of the night was the fact that
this is the same year as
Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
And the motion picture, we had Greatest Showman 1, but Greatest Show on Earth, same thing. High Noon was nominated, Ivanhoe, Moulin Rouge, and The Quiet Man. No Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
Absolute
I think
travesty.
Singing in the Rain, just the year before you had An American in Paris, which was the love for the musicals, and I feel like, but then you get a weird year where Gypsy, what's that? Gigi wins, and that's a bad year. But Singing in the Rain is going to be further up this list. Mm-hmm. It's in the top 10?
Top 5.
It's top 5. Like, it's a very important film, very beloved.
It's the best.
But it was. I don't think people realized how important that movie was until years later. I don't know,
reaction
maybe.
to this film recently: Rotten Tomatoes 95, Letterboxd 4, IMDb 7.9.
Yeah.
Every Thursday on our channel we do clickbait. This week we're going to do Thomas Cruise draft.
Yep.
Last week you did a great little segment and then you ruined it by the end. It was right movie, wrong time.
Yep.
And you ruined it with Speed Racer again.
Which was
Hannah,
prolific.
Your hot take for High Noon?
I was thinking about it. I had two, but I'm going to go with this one because I'm just saying when a movie has a title like High Noon and it delivers on that promise, is perfect. It is the exact movie you want. Because this movie ends at high noon, you have the amazing gunfight scene, and then it just ends. Like, your hero rides off in the sunset. That is exactly what I wanted to see. I don't want to see an entire movie where we discuss High Noon and we never get to it. There are movies like The Holiday with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn called The Holiday, and literally you're waiting for these two to go on holiday and you never get to see it. Or, funnily enough, High School Musical is literally, you never actually get to see the musical that they're, auditioning for ever. You never get to see that performance. So it's like, there are movies that have a name, don't fulfill that promise. You wait the entire time. But this one is that guaranteed beautiful high where you can, high noon. It's like, it's perfect. It's guaranteed success.
My take for this movie is like, this movie has such an interesting backstory. Like,
you mean the lore behind it? Because like in this list, we've had a lot of movies with like interesting fights on set.
But like the writer and the producer having a massive falling out over communism, and then this movie being about it, and then honestly, the director making movies like this, like A Man for All Seasons, is exactly the same.
I didn't pick it up until you said because that was that same time period, and then you say it, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. But if you don't associate it, it's just a really good movie about your moral judgment. You're choosing yourself and what you believe in. If you
wouldn't have known about the time, you would have said, okay, this is what humans do. They take the easy road out. There's a line in this movie where I think his old sheriff buddy,
the old sheriff,
he says to him that people have to be dragged kicking and screaming to make the right decision.
To law and order, they don't want it until
they've exhausted every other option.
Yeah, and in this movie, they even implicate that maybe if he wasn't there, nothing bad would happen. And it's like, but that's such a what if scenario. And you got to make your own judgment calls, and this movie showcases that. And it's so well done.
It is.
It's so well done. But yeah, when you talk about the law, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to Pete and Hannah's review.
Yep.
And let's go to scene breakdown.
Yeah.
So we start off with like the gang riding to town.
Yeah, the three guys just walk through and then go to the train station.
And then we've got, like, juxtaposed with the Marshal getting married to a Quaker and stepping down as Marshal, and all the towns going, step down,
I love the idea of like using the character as a Quaker because she doesn't want violence.
Yeah.
And that plays a big
she's
role.
Lost her father and a brother to violence.
That's why.
And then they find out Miller, who's like the gang leader, has got a pardon and is catching a train into town.
Yeah, crazy.
And then so they're telling him, mate, you need to get out of here, right out of town. He's riding out of town. He's got like a buggy, horse and cart.
Yeah, they're going fast though.
He's going fast, and then even Deputy Marshal
notices
what's
something's
going on.
up.
And then he goes, "No, I got to go back around." And then she's trying to plead with him, like,
Do we really need to?
You don't need to do this, you know. And he goes, "No, I need to. This is really important." And he's been lauded as a great marshal for this town because
he brought justice to the town.
Like females and kids could walk the streets without getting harassed.
Yeah, and it was due to this guy. Yeah. This guy, Miller, was the reason this town was it, and so it was up to him and a bunch of people to stop it.
Okay, so
and now that he's coming back for what essentially could be revenge.
Now the movie is all about Kane trying to convince everyone in town to rise up against him. He said, if enough people become deputies and rise up against...
Yeah, we could stop him.
We can stop him.
It's just 4 guys, basically.
Yeah,
we can stop them.
This. Yeah. But everyone starts talking him down. You know, his ex-deputy, played by Lloyd Bridges, he says, I'm not going to...
No, he's pretty mad that he's not getting
been given the
sheriff
job, so marshal role. So he says no to him. Then you've got the Kane's previous relationship with the Mrs. Marires.
Yeah.
She was formerly attached to Miller, then was attached to Kane.
But then
now is attached to the...
They haven't spoken in a year. Yeah. And he even goes... Yeah.
And then he started to realise not everyone in the town was a fan of getting it cleaned up. There was
there's the hotel worker, the bar. They
used to make a lot of money off Miller.
Yeah.
So Kane comes in and he's got one person on his side
who's volunteered. He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we did it last time. We can do it again.
Yeah,
he goes into the pub. The Republican is, the bartender. He's starting to speak ill of him, and then Marshal Kane comes in and punches him. He goes, "No, you're the ex-sheriff. You shouldn't do that. You're ex-marshal. You shouldn't do that." He goes, "No, you're right." And then he implores the town folk to join him, but no one's buying it. So then he goes and sees Harry Morgan's character, his best friend. He's always stood by him. And he's pretending not there. Mrs. Mira lays down the law to Lloyd Bridges' character and says, "Mate, you should stand up with this guy," but no one is. Then you get the famous one where he goes to church and he goes and he pleads with the whole town, including Thomas Mitchell, who we'll see in next week's episode of Mrs. Smith Goes to Washington. He plays the drunk reporter, but he's also in
It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. He's the uncle.
Yeah,
hate that guy.
So he plays a jerk in this one as well. He plays the mayor.
Well, he plays the mayor, and you think, oh, he's friends with him. He's got to stand up for him, but he's the one being the moral. Look, we're getting a new sheriff tomorrow.
You get some people in the church standing up for Will
because they know what life was like before.
Fight now, or you're going to have to fight later.
Yeah, and you have
all these other people saying, "Oh, we pay for you to."
Yeah, why should we?
Why should we?
It's it was 2 guys running. But and then the mayor clearly states, you know what? If you left, tomorrow we'll have a new guy, and there might not be any problem. But that's the what if scenario, and everyone just followed through because
so he's
what's
like
the point?
He's all said everything, and then he goes and sees his friend, like he's like the idol, like
he's
the one that convinced him to become a marshal.
Yeah,
and he says, "Mate, being a lawman doesn't pay. It just doesn't pay at all.
No,
like you're gonna die poor, or you're gonna die in the middle of a dusty street,
or for what, a tin star? Like you,
exactly.
That's it."
So then he looks like he's gonna ride away, and the deputy marshal Harvey comes in and says, "Mate, you should go away." And then they get into a big fight, Will versus Harvey, and Will comes out on top.
Oh, of course,
he smashes him. You know what I like in this movie? Like Gary Cooper, like he's 50.
Yeah,
and you can see it. Like he's a lot older than everyone in this movie, but like you can see the sweat.
So
like, he's under stress.
He's under stress, and like the emotion on him, it's doing so well in this movie. I don't know if a lot of people do that. He's just like every time he gets a rejection, he like walks off, and you can just see like almost the hopelessness kind of keep reaching him.
So
it's so good.
He's trying to convince Amy to stay, and he thinks that Amy's going to stay, and she goes, "No,
I'm taking the noon train
I'm taking
out."
The train, out. She talks to Mrs. Ramirez, and there's some great quotes here. And one of the quotes is Mrs. Ramirez says to Harvey, he goes, "You're a good-looking boy. You have big, broad shoulders, but he's a man. And he takes it more than big, broad shoulders to make a man. And you know what? I don't think you're ever going to make it." And then she says to Amy Fowler Kane, "I don't understand. No matter what you say, if Kane was my man, I would never leave him like this. I'd get a gun and I'd fight. Why don't you? Because he's not my man. He's yours." Great lines. Great lines. So they're going out of town. So
they're going to live
they're
together.
Going together.
They've sort of.
But what's funny is that Miller is coming in on the train that he.
Yeah,
they're going
that's
out
the
on.
same train.
Yeah,
that's the same.
And so
train.
Miller sort of looks over to her and like. Yeah. Meanwhile, Kane is writing his last will and testament.
Yeah, it's the next sheriff.
Yeah,
crazy, pretty upsetting. He's like really just. It's him against
everyone. He thinks he's going to be.
He's ready for it.
Yeah, and then the first shot happens, and Amy runs off the train.
It's so
and runs to town, and then she reads a letter.
Yeah, she makes that decision really quickly, where she's like,
"Oh, Hannah, you know what I say?
So
religion,
love triumphs.
Love triumphs over religion.
It actually is. It's a very heartfelt moment."
Okay, so. Then you get this like really cool shootout. So you got
this is
he does really well. He gets up on this barn,
kind of
takes out somebody.
They all like go in different directions. So he starts to he
takes out one straight away.
So smart.
Yeah, then he takes out another one in the barn, but then they light him on fire. Then he gets all these horses out.
Gets the horses out.
And then he barebacks on a horse, which is not easy. He gets shot off it, goes into his thing.
Goes into the saddlery and
he's ready to shoot somebody. Someone shoots at him, and then somebody shoots behind him. And guess who it is? It's Amy.
Yeah, she takes out. She was in the sheriff's office, read the letter, and she saw an opportunity to help because that was it for her. Like she's chosen to be married to that guy. She's going to stand up.
And then she gets taken hostage by Miller. And Amy hasn't finished. She scratches Miller, and then bang, Will takes him out.
Impressive, just
the skills. Whole town comes around him. Oh yeah!
The kid has their cart ready,
and then he just throws the badge down. A lot of people said that he stepped on it. He didn't. He didn't. He just walked off and just got out of there. And that's the end. Like it just.
That's how it should be.
These 40s and 50 movies, they don't muck around.
Thank you.
They don't muck around.
They shouldn't because again. I got what I needed. High noon, and I'm out. Like, I got it.
I just want to talk about
it's not
one
1
thing.
o'clock.
The fact that
what?
Will Kane and Amy Fowler Kane.
Yeah.
Amy Fowler from Big Bang.
Big Bang. Amy Farrah Fowler.
And Sheldon Cooper. Gary Cooper.
Oh, you're funny.
I'm just saying.
You're weird.
It's been mentioned, so.
You're funny.
No, let's just mention on the...
No, I think this movie's so...
Okay, Reasons 2.
Reasons 2, this is an impressively well done Western. Westerns always deal with morality, and I think this one's one of the best ones that deal with it, where a man has to take on justice by himself, but just due to the fact of the lack of town. Usually in these movies, the town rallies at some point or another. It's just him and the love of his wife.
This movie,
it's so
clever the way it's done from start to finish.
Because you think at all points of this movie, you think someone's gonna like help him.
Yeah.
You just think, and you know for a fact Amy's not going to, because she's a Quaker,
yeah.
and she has told him, no, I'm not helping you. So you're thinking, oh my god, like by the end of this movie, it's over. Like we're gonna watch a tragedy happen, but we watch the hero triumph and leave because he's like, I don't need to be this town's hero anymore.
Oh mate, this town sucks.
I don't need to be here anymore.
Good on him.
I'm gonna go run a shop with my Quaker
But
wife.
they didn't give you the conversation of him saying that. He just put the badge down and then
do
just.
You need it? Like it feels.
No,
like
no,
a
I
ruin.
don't. But I think they would have
It's too much.
Yeah.
Because you then have to make a speech, and it's gotta.
Reasons not to. I love her, but she's terrible in this movie. Grace Kelly.
She's really bad in this movie.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because you know what
There's
she
no
can
chemistry
do.
between them as well.
You know what she can do.
I've watched a lot of Gary Cooper movies, and I've never been a fan, but it works. He's understating
Gary Cooper's
acting.
so good in this.
His understating acting really works in this movie.
Westerns, out of any type of movie, you can have that big age gap limit because for some reason you can believe like an old man gets with a young woman. In a
all the
Western.
time, yeah.
In a Western, that passes real quickly.
Does it deserve to be on the list? Yeah,
100%.
I think it does.
100%.
Do you reckon they will take off a lot of Westerns off this list if they redo it? Because we've said that they'd take off a lot of war movies, and I think they'd take off a lot of Westerns. We've got a lot. Because we've still got The Searchers to come. We've had Unforgiven.
Yeah, there was a few. We've had we've had a lot. Yes, but I don't want it to be this one.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, I think this one I would want to stay the most. Like, Unforgiven's on this list. And Unforgiven's just here because it's a Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah.
It's not here because it's...
Do you count Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid as a Western?
Yeah, that does count. Because you can't count it... Unless you count as a buddy cop. We don't really have those, so...
The Wild Bunch as well.
The Wild Bunch, yeah, but...
I don't know if they will get rid of it.
I don't know if they won't touch Westerns because they're so important to cinema.
Well, yeah, but... Like... At least they were liked by the Academy. Like, sometimes things that touch the whole thing, like superheroes don't get touched.
Superheroes, sci-fi, and fantasy.
Yeah, they don't get.
There's only a few they've ever scraped.
Really
like fantasy-wise,
comedy's very rare too.
Literally was Lord of the Rings. That's it.
Would you buy it on Blu-ray? Can't get it on many places, but I would definitely get it.
I would.
I'd definitely get it. I'd get the black and white. Black and white version is better than the color version. I've seen both. Would you watch this again? Yeah, I've watched this many times. It's good. Rating for this one. What are you gonna give it? Controversial. People said our opinions on all-time classic last week of All About Eve.
That's weird.
I don't know.
Maybe they don't understand.
Maybe they haven't seen All About Eve.
Yeah. Oh, that's the same as I kind of want to give it to this.
You want to give this an all-time classic?
This is my... When I rewatched it, I was like, oh, I watched this movie and I did enjoy it, I remember. Yeah. And rewatching it, I was like, when it came to Westerns, like, this was my favourite one I've ever watched.
Hannah, there is a point to say now, between now and the one.
The one? What?
Between now and number one, they're all-time classics.
Yeah, so there's a lot, there's a...
Like,
we're gonna, because
this next couple of weeks.
That's why they are at the top of this list, because when you go through them, like, I know some of them.
Next week we get Mr. Smith Goes Washing,
and that's
classic Frank Capra. Then you get To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah,
like, he's one of the best characters of all time. And then you get Grapes of Wrath, Some Like It Hot, Chinatown. Like, mate, It's a Wonderful Life. Like, we're getting to the heights of this.
I know, It's a Wonderful Life. Wow. Oh man,
I think it's an all-time classic for sure.
Yeah, when it comes to Westerns, this is one of the most refined, best ones we're ever gonna see. Like, I know.
You know what another good thing about this movie is?
What's another good thing?
83 minutes.
I know, and it ends.
The look of this movie, the cinematography did an amazing job with this movie,
and that song, the High Noon Ballad, is it's quite
haunting, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's so good.
Okay,
it's like so, like when I think of this movie, I'm like, like I enjoy The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance as well, but it would never make this list. I think because it's a little too cheesy and corny.
Yeah, it's
whereas
a little bit
this
more
is more
popcorn version of this movie.
Yeah, it's a popcorn version, and there's so many versions of probably this movie, so that's why it's the best of it.
Yeah. Like Walking Tall with The Rock is another version of this movie. There you go.
Even
always bring it back to The Rock. It's good way to the end.
The probably Oscar nominated The Rock.
Smash Machine.
Yeah,
that's good, isn't it?
You never know.
You never know. That is it for today's show. Next week, Miss Mish Goes to Washington. One of my favourite movies. I think it's on my letterbox.
Yes,
top 4.
I think it is.
Pete Mitchell.
So
Pete and Hannah's Watchlist.
It's so interesting. It's your favourite Frank Capra. It's not my favourite Frank Capra.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I don't think you have.
I have.
We're going to watch it.
And I'll tell you.
Drill it into your head.
You're going to drill it into my head, and I'm still going to say, bam, this other one is my favourite.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with it.
There's a reason mine's higher than yours.
So slightly. 6.
I think it's really important that we watch that movie next week.
This is Washington?
Yeah, I think
and then these two movies together is not, it's not a coincidence.
Oh, no.
Especially in today's
no,
life.
No,
I think it's really important.
It's like watching this and then you watch West Wing afterwards.
Let's do it. Let justice be done or the heavens fall, Hannah. Tomorrow, movie news. Great episode. Thomas Cruise draft. Looking forward to that as well as a preview. Mission Impossible. Reckoning Final One.
Big fan.
Great. And Last of Us. Awesome. Okay.
That's right.
That is it for today's show. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Pete and Hannah's Watchlist at gmail.com for any feedback that you've got. That is my lovely co-host, Hannah. Great job, Han. And long live cinema. Until we meet again, it's bye for now.
Bye.